Hello, and welcome to a book haul. I don't know when this is going to come out. Wow. I don't think you understand. I make really awkward videos like this and then edit them. You've seen how the sausage is made.
Oh my god.
Wait until you see that in editing. It's going to be like a wraparound shot. It's going to fly into your face. And it's going to be, this is Grace. From Grace Dion. If you haven't heard of her, I only put her in almost every video. This is the queen of the cesspit, the Discord, which will be involved very shortly. I haven't told you about this.
Oh.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It's a haul. We are here to talk about the things. I'm in Canada. That also would have been good to preface. I'm in Canada.
We're in the same location, which is not England.
There is not a green screen. We're not green screened in on a background. This is actually real. She's real. And so we went shopping, mostly thrift stores. Also, what's it called? Indigo.
Yes.
Which is basically
The
Canada's
bookstore.
Barnes & Noble and Canada's Waterstones.
Except, yeah, like we don't really have multiple big chain bookstores. We have like Indigo, like that's the one.
That's not what we're like with Waterstones. People talk about
Blackwell's.
Yeah, Blackwell's has been bought out by Waterstones.
Oh, okay,
but
well,
also,
never mind.
Like, Blackwell's is one of those ones where people are like, yeah, it exists, look at it, look how many on the map. I have never seen one in my entire life. Like, every city I've ever lived in hasn't had one. And I assume it's probably because Blackwell's meant to be nice. But let's get into it. So with a book haul, we're going to start with a board game.
We're gonna start with not a book.
Hell yeah. Although, it is kind of clasped like a book.
Well, it is also based on books.
Well, that is true. It's the Call to Adventure Stormlight Archive game. I remember when this first got kickstarted. The reason I didn't buy it is because of the shipping.
Do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of that gif of the girl who's like, I'm washing me and my clothes. So instead of shipping the game to you, you're gonna be like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
flying
shipped myself.
me and the game.
This looks real cool. I may take some pictures and stuff, but I'll do that probably back in England when I edit this.
Which will be in 2023.
Yes. Don't tell them this isn't 2023. We haven't played it yet. Probably
No.
should have played this beforehand, but nevertheless.
Well, this isn't a review. This is just a haul.
That's true. Next up, reason for talking about the Discord. Canada can now be confirmed as the only place in the world
Yes.
where you can reliably find the Long Price Quartet as a binder. I saw this and I believe gasped and possibly moaned.
People were looking.
They were looking because I was kind of, it was there on the shelf and I was like, If you haven't heard me talk about the Long Price Quartet, it's because you haven't gone over to Grace's channel.
And watched the 4 hours of videos that we have posted.
Very short, very concise, where we talk about these books and why they're very, very good. I would recommend the last one because we did a non-spoiler review for the entire series. However, I've also done a review on the first book with Pete from Ponderings of Pete as well. They'll all be linked. I'm so happy to have this. Reason I mentioned Discord is I'm only doing this to UK. I'm not made of money, because I'm really not. But I have spare copies now of all 4 books as 2 bind-ups. So, anyone that's interested in reading the Long Price Quartet that lives in the UK, join the Discord. I'm going to make a little thing, put your name in the hat, spinny, choose a winner, and I'll send the books to you. Because people need to read the Long Price Quartet.
They do.
And
we need to fund the printing of more of these.
yeah, in some place other than the great goddamn white north. Well, they're hiding them up here. Is it because the setting is quite cold? Is that why? They're like, oh, they'll enjoy it. Talking about freezing stuff. Next up is a very nice gift.
Okay.
Grace ordered the Guns of the Thorn by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which, I mean, talk about 2 books in a row that are very clearly influenced by Alan.
Yeah.
Like, that's real.
Yeah.
You're gonna get added in the description. Sorry, Alan. So you ordered this from Book Depository, right?
Yeah, and they sent me the worst thing I've ever seen.
They sent. Well, we can do a good view of this. So if you open it, you go like that, and the book falls out. So That's not very good.
I will say for their customer service that I informed them of this and they immediately sent me another copy, and you can see the other copy in my previous book haul. But I had this copy that I was like, I don't really know what to do with this. And
yeah, you were talking about recycling it. Also, it is completely ripped here as well.
Yeah.
But you were talking about recycling it or
well,
something.
I was, because I honestly don't feel good about giving that to like a charity shop or like a thrift store or like a used bookstore, because it is not in good shape. It's in terrible condition.
And if they lost those middle pages and someone didn't know, or you'd be raging.
Yeah, so now I just give it to you.
Yeah, well, I offered to take it. You didn't so much give it as I went, you were like, what kind of degenerate, what absolutely appalling human being would want to own such a disgusting book? And I was like, please,
like,
can I have a book?
It was more like, I almost feel bad giving this to you. Are you sure?
I'm happy with it. Also, if you want to know what this book's about, watch Alan's review.
Frankenstein?
Yeah, Frankenstein. This is now the third copy of Frankenstein I own. Reason being is, I was meant to leave Canada. I'm a runaway child.
And it is now 2023.
It is now 20. Yes, yeah. I was entrapped here by I won't name the person, but I have not been able to leave.
It's Justin Trudeau.
Third copy because I was meant to leave. However, I'm still here, and I have an essay on Frankenstein, so I needed a copy. So this cost what? It was $2.
$2?
Yeah, which is Canadian dollars. So it's a toonie.
Yeah.
And so it cost roughly like
what?
£1? Yeah, like $1.50.
Or slightly less.
Maybe
than that.
less. Yeah, $1.30, $1.40.
Yeah.
So you can't argue with it. Also, it's an edited version. So I thought I'd be able to find some good quotes in the edited version to put in my essay. Next up, now this was an exciting one.
Yes, this was quite a find.
I found this in the same place as Frankenstein. We were walking through, and I had seen, I'm just going to spoil it, it's Tales from the Cafe. I'd seen this in this sequel to Before the Coffee Goes Cold. I haven't talked about this on the channel. I didn't do a review or anything. It's a magical realism book where you go to a cafe, you sit down in a particular chair, and you travel back in time. You can't leave the chair or anything, you're just stuck in the same place, but you can go back in time. Until the coffee goes cold, you have to drink the whole coffee before then to go back to the present time. Otherwise, you become the person that has to stay in the chair. Tales from the Cafe is the sequel, which has some reoccurring characters, I believe, etc. And I saw this in the same place, like the Indigo, and it was a lot. It was more than I wanted to pay because it's hardback edition. So, alas, into this charity shop we go. My eyes are... I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, this bad boy catches my eye with a blue little symbol, which means this nice hardback costs $3 Canadian. How many Canadian dollars is that?
3.
That's crazy. And it's
is that a trick question?
It's meant to cost $25 fresh. It does have a little rip there.
Fresh.
Little...
You want some fresh books?
Yeah, fresh.
Well, you don't, I know that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about an old bad book. So that was a great find.
Yes, absolutely.
$3. I'm going to let you explain this one because you got it for me for my birthday.
I did.
How kind.
I did. So yes, this is recitative. I was saying it wrong before. I still can't do it. You know what? You're going to read it. Because you're all readers.
There's a reason I let you say that.
So I got this for Ben for his birthday, and the reason is because I saw Books and Lala talk about this book in a vlog that she was doing, and she talked about how the I guess writing technique or it's not really a technique in terms of like official terms, but the technique that she used was that this story is about 2 women. One of them is white and one of them is black, and their races are like critical to their stories, except for the fact that you don't know which woman is white and which one is black. So there's a whole introduction in this copy as well, because this is like a short story that's being published by itself for the first time. So there's an introduction in this little like novella-sized thing, and then there's the story where it's Zadie Smith, right? Yeah. Zadie Smith kind of like talks about what Toni Morrison was doing with the story and like why it's so interesting. And I thought that Ben would like it because he's an English major and I feel like he would appreciate what was being done here. I honestly really want to read this myself because it sounds super cool, but it just sounded like the perfect kind of little option, and I knew that this wasn't something that you would choose yourself. That's it.
I can also say I've read this now, and it is really good. There is a meticulous level of detail to making sure that every single reference can be interpreted both ways. And I described it as, well actually I believe Zadie Smith also does, is the idea of that this book, it's not about the book, it is addressing the audience, that this book is more interested in how the audience reacts and how they believe about it. The interesting thing, is what I enjoy reading about essays and that type of thing, is where sometimes essays are so strongly worded and there's such strong belief in it because it has to be, that I find it interesting reading different people's interpretations, because Zadie Smith is really interested with which one is white and which one is black.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I wasn't so much interested in who was what, I was more interested in why is it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the thing that was really interesting, is having that inert reaction. Like sometimes you'll just read something and you'll be like, that sounds super white. Using a dusting powder or viewing a political view one way or the other, you have inert reactions. Is that the right word? Innate.
Unconscious.
Yeah. Just like automatic reactions.
The other thing that I found interesting, and I'm pretty sure that it was also Kayla that said this in her video, was that she saw something where the two perspectives are written in different like point of views, right? One of them is written in third person, one of them's written in first person. And
yes.
I'm pretty sure that there was a survey of like black versus white women where you were more likely to think that the person writing in first person was the same race as you.
Yes, yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
And people also assume that the first person is also, quite a lot of people will say that the first person perspective is the black person because the author is black. And they will assume that they're reading from the perspective of someone who, why would they write from the perspective of a white woman if they're black, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no way anyone can say in any regard
like what the actual...
Yeah, which one is which race.
Because there's no resolution, yeah.
No, I won't go into it because you're going to read it.
Uh-huh.
The ending and what the story is actually about is really fantastic. And it was genuinely moving. It was thought-provoking.
Oh.
Next up, I love this.
Yeah, me too.
Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, but it's a funky little version. Is this mass market? Is that what you would call it?
It looks mass market to me, but it's sort of a weird like size where
it's
between.
taller.
Yeah, it's like a tall mass market.
It's stunning, and like they've done these for all of them, but this is the one I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's way cheaper than a regular paperback, I believe. This is $13.
Well, that's like the price of a mass market, which
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure this would be considered a mass market, but it's taller.
Yeah, and I read Neverwhere when I first started reading again, recommended by my housemate Pete, and it was the first Gaiman book I read, so I thought it was a good one to get. I was thinking about getting him it, but he said he didn't like it. So if you're watching this, Pete, I remember you saying that. Don't you fucking dare say that you didn't say that, because you definitely did. I saw also, because Leanna collects these, like these ones. Yeah, I saw her on Instagram. She put them up.
Nice.
So you want to see the tube?
Ooh.
You haven't read it, have you?
No, I haven't.
No. You've read American Gods and
Ocean at the End of the Lane
Ocean
and
at the
Good
End.
Omens.
Yeah. You should read Neverwhere.
I've heard that is, or I don't know why I said I've heard. I don't know who I've heard from. I was thinking about that being the next one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not explaining what any of these books are about, because who cares? Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile. I don't know what this is about.
It's a murder mystery. You might be shocked to find out.
Yeah, because you've read it, right?
I have read it. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but I still really liked it. It's like a cruise ship along the Nile into, like, I can't remember where exactly they go, but it's just basically like people on a boat, and there is like some day expeditions, but it mostly surrounds like a murder that takes place on the cruise ship.
You want to hear the back?
I would love to.
A honeymoon with murder.
Ah.
The scene, an exotic cruise in the land of the ancient pharaohs. I think it's Egypt.
Oh, Egypt. Okay, that makes sense.
The victim, she made such a lovely bride. Alas, a tiny round bullet hole just above her right ear had interrupted what seemed to be a perfect honeymoon. The suspects! The boat was crawling with them, including the ex-girlfriend of the groom, who said she'd just come along for the ride, and the groom himself, who had at least a couple of dozen million motives, in brackets, dollar marks, for murder.
A dozen million motives?
So it's saying, like,
that's a very...
$12 million for murder. Like,
yeah.
I assume there's like an insurance thing. Like a death insurance, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Clues! A dainty pearl-handled revolver, a string of stolen pearls, and initials scrawled in blood. The solution? Well, that's spoiling it. Even the great Poirot couldn't put the pieces together in time to prevent the murderer from striking again. That's not a solution. That's another problem.
That's another problem.
Yeah. If we let the murderer murder again,
we'll have enough clues to catch him.
And then last but certainly not least, The Name of the Wind. Mass market paperback. It's hideous. As in this orange fuck. Disgusting.
Mm-hmm. You have to hate it.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at it and think, yeah, you belong in a thrift store. And alas, that's where I got it from. I don't know what this is about, honestly.
No, me neither.
I believe that it follows first person.
Both.
And they're a musician?
I think that he's just like a guy who's really good at everything, that goes to like Magical University and then now is like a guy who owns a pub or something.
Whoa, I have no idea what this book's about. I honestly didn't even know what identification the character was. I didn't know if they were male, female, non-binary. I don't know what the fuck they were.
Well, I've heard that he's kind of like one of those protagonists who's just good at everything.
Oh, classic.
But...
So Patrick Rothfuss totally wanted to fuck, and he just wrote about himself fucking in books, right? He's totally gonna fuck a lot. I have been very hesitant to read this bad boy because it's not finished.
Me too, which is why I haven't read mine.
Yeah, but people such as Klaus have said that it is worthwhile reading as a standalone and that you still get enough from it that you don't want to put your head through a wall.
There's two though.
There are two. The Wise Man's Fear, which is meant to be not very good, I've heard very controversial.
Yeah, me too.
And also, but he also believes that the Game of Thrones is worth reading even if the last two books come out. So you can kind of put it in that.
You mean
same
even if
sphere.
they don't?
Even if they don't. What did I say?
Even if they do.
Even if they do, it's still worth reading. Just those ones and stop it. Hesitancy exudes from this, especially with the line. It sounds very cringe. You want to hear the blurb?
I would love to.
My name's Kvoth, whatever the fuck the name is.
Kvoth?
Kvoth. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping barricades. I burned down the town of Trebon. I spent the night with Fairlurian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of me. That's such a cringe line, in my opinion.
He's telling his story.
Yeah, which makes sense because, of course, if you're trying to be a bard, etc., you got to make yourself an exuding...
I don't think he's a bard. I think that he's a tavern owner or whatever that's telling his story. Or maybe he goes into a tavern and then tells his story.
Well, yeah, but he says he writes songs and stuff.
I don't know. Nobody should actually like listen to me and take what I'm saying as fact because I haven't read them
Yeah,
either.
can someone confirm that I'm right? I'm joking. I'm definitely not going to be. Nevertheless, my belief is that of course the main character is putting themselves across in a way to appeal to what would be audiences in a tavern or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have to tell quite flamboyant and over the top, like very character like author insert stories. I'm interested, and you know what? That's the end. We did it. That was also a very good high five.
That was a snappy high five.
Overall, very happy. I bought 3 books I already own, just in different printings. One of them was gifted by you, gifting inverted commas.
2 of them were gifted by me.
Oh yeah, sorry.
One of them was actually gifted. One of them was like
Gifted. One's a sequel to one I've already read. That's by the same author I've already read. So there's only one that's a complete unknown, as in like there's no predetermining factor for me picking it. If you're still here, I don't know why. Nevertheless, check out Grace's channel. It'll be in the description. We did the exact same thing over there, but in a less chaotic way. And you spoke a lot more. And I can't just sit there like this.
I was the one doing the video.
Yes, go over there. If you're interested in the 2 individual copies of Daniel Abraham's The Long Price Quartet, you fucking should be. Head onto the Discord, make it known, say, excuse me, sir.
May I please have a book?
Check it out. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a nice rest of your day.
Thanks.
You're welcome. There we go. Now you know what it's like recording with me. Terrible.